Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We are so excited to team up with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative this afternoon. We're glad you could join us. We are going to learn more about the Internship Connect program this afternoon and how it can really help you explore your career options and build that valuable experience you need to be a really productive and awesome member of the workforce. So thank you again for joining us. My name is Liz. I'm going to run through just a couple housekeeping items before we get started here. So first off, today's webinar is going to run for an hour. And I do want to let you know that we will have time for Q&A at the end. So as you have questions throughout this presentation, definitely add them to the chat box. Our team here will be monitoring that conversation, and we'll do our best to get to as many of those questions as possible toward the end of today's presentation. So to get us started this afternoon, I'm going to hand things over to our presenter, Fafa Baker. She is the Organizational Development Specialist at Rappahannock Electric Cooperative, and she heads up the Internship Connect program. So Fafa, take it away.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for the hearty welcome. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Interns are such a pivotal component of our Internship Connect program. So we are here today to share with you just a bit about myself in addition to the Internship Connect program. So starting out, I am the Organizational Development Specialist for REC. I have been with the company for 3 years, and my anniversary of my 3rd year was April of this year. And my goal is to enhance the skills of current employees by providing learning opportunities and experiences. So that is my focus as the Organizational Development Specialist, or the OD Specialist. A fun fact about myself is I actually participated in my first internship with a nonprofit organization in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a graduate of Johnson C. Smith University in the city of Charlotte. So what I'd like to do is advance to the next slide. Thanks, Elizabeth. And take out your phone, students, and hover over this QR code. This QR code will link you directly to me, Fafa Baker, through LinkedIn, and let's connect so we can have more of the conversation about interns. Next slide. So we have some REC quick facts. We support 22 counties. We have 4,000 square miles of territory, 170,000 services, 17,000 miles of line, quite a bit of line, 10 accounts per mile, $460 million in revenue. Imagine that amount of money, and 430 employees. And possibly one day you too can become a part of our 430 employee workforce by increasing that number. Next slide. Our REC service territory is notated in yellow. So if you take a look at the REC territory, we cover quite a few counties as stated earlier. A few of those counties are Albemarle County, Caroline County, Spotsylvania County, Stafford County, Warren County, and Culpeper County, just to name a few. So we do cover quite a large portion of the area. Next slide. So Internship Connect. You apply knowledge acquired in the classroom to real world situations, develop analytical skills, and expand the intern's discipline. Last, improve time management, communication, and interpersonal skills. And all of these components for Internship Connect will create, I assure you, and upskill an intern for the workforce. Next slide. So our Internship Connect program has multiple components. We offer the understanding of the benefit an intern offers to REC. In addition, the support we offer to the intern. Types of REC internships, the timing of those internships, spring, summer, fall, winter, and orientation. And I actually had an orientation this morning with 4 of our interns who started with us on Monday. Lunch with your team. We oftentimes like to take out our student interns to lunch, of course, being careful and mindful of COVID and being careful with all of our safety practices with where we are right now in life. Also a ride along. This is a signature component of our Internship Connect program. Interns will have a chance to ride along with our employees in the big yellow trucks. Round robins, you'll have an opportunity to meet with others. Career development support, resume building, mock interview skills, and link up with LinkedIn Learning. And last, before you leave your internship, we will offer a written letter of reference for the intern. Next slide. So benefits, internship benefits. It's a year-round source of motivated pre-professionals. We love and enjoy listening to our interns. They provide so much insight to the work we do at REC. They are a method of identifying and training potential future employees. We have a chance to work with interns, and some of our interns have participated in summer internships, which led to winter internships, fall internships, and full-time employment. So keep that in mind. Your work shows and shows well. You could be asked to return the following semester of your schooling, in addition to becoming a full-time employee. Students bring new ideas, skills, and points of view. It's so important for us to be on the cutting edge and forward thinking in our industry. And so we look to our interns to provide so much insight into what we do. Visibility of REC in the community. We have relationships with school systems in our community, Spotsylvania County school systems, in addition to King George County school systems, where we participate on their career and technical education committees. And what we do with those committees is we provide support from a business aspect, and we link up with an educational aspect, hence providing this special opportunity for interns. And increased diversity. We want to make sure that our workforce is diverse in addition to our applicant pool. And we want to make sure that our internships mirror our population of employees in addition to our population of our member owners. Next slide. Our types of internships. And as you can see here, this was an event hosted by REC, and we have our hashtag, We Are REC. Keep that in mind when posting on our webpage that we are REC. Next slide. Paid internships. So our student interns, they receive compensation for their internship opportunity. They are paid at least minimum wage. However, that monetary amount could be beyond minimum wage. We want our interns to understand that we want to compensate you for your time, for your experience, for your efforts in supporting REC, but most importantly, we want to make sure that you have an experience like no other. Next slide. Credit-bearing internships. A minimum number of hours must be completed at the internship site. In addition to, students may have restrictions on the time of year in which they can complete the credited internship. So for instance, if a student is participating in an internship in the fall of the year and the internship needs to be completed through that semester, then of course we would make sure the student receives all of what was requested via their goals and objectives and the learning experiences to be completed prior to the end of that semester. That information will be completed and signed off from the internship supervisor, in addition to the school system or the institution of higher learning. Next slide. So now we're looking at the different times of the year in which we support interns. They can happen at any time of the year. REC is open to supporting an intern in the months of January through December. Typically, they last up to 10 weeks or longer. Some internships could last a semester, depending on the needs of the intern. Usually 10 to 15 hours a week during the year. We want to be mindful of the time the students are participating in the work. We want to also be respectful of the work the students must complete in class. During the summer, hours may be increased to 30 or 40 hours a week, depending on what is discussed and agreed upon between the intern and the intern supervisor. So keep that in mind, students. If you're interested in an internship opportunity, Continue to check our website because internships are offered throughout the year. Next slide. Internship Connect orientation. This morning, I had a wonderful time speaking with our new interns. We focused on our mission and vision of REC, our core values, our leadership structure, and our safety principles. And safety is so important. Safety is what is key in our industry, and we want to ensure the safety of our interns. Next slide. Lunch with your team. Now, I know for me, food is really, really important. I will say when we were in the office, I was kind of the lunch bunch person. So I would go around and collect orders for food. So we want to make sure that we feed you when you come into the office for your internship opportunity, where you will have a chance to have lunch with your team. And what does that mean? It's an opportunity for you to share your experiences or your expectations with your teammates. It's a chance for you to get to know and build your network of people in the industry. It's an opportunity for you as well to see who's who in your actual department. And sometimes some of our leadership members, they will participate in lunch from our strategic and tactical teams as well. Next slide. Okay, so ride-alongs. This is huge, students. This is huge. So you oftentimes may see those huge yellow trucks, and maybe because you're not in our territory, I encourage you to go out to our webpage, www.myrec.coop, and take a look at some of those pictures out there. Looking at this slide, you see one of our REC trucks. A ride-along is an opportunity to see our service areas and our service territories from the lens of our employees who actually work in the field. And some of those positions for our field workers are member services field representatives, our linemen who actually climb the pole and restore outages. We also have distribution designers who go out and stake the area for lines, power lines. This is a chance to learn about power line distribution. It's a chance to learn about different types of trucks used to restore power. Our trucks come in so many different sizes and shapes. And so I am still learning which trucks are applicable to certain routine tasks and especially to outages. So we have larger trucks and we have smaller trucks, but whatever the size of the truck, please know the responsibility, the safety, the intent, and the restoration all remain the same. And safety is number one. And you learn about safety practices used to keep our workers safe. So keep in mind, you will see some of our linemen climbing the poles. They have on a lot of gear, and the gear they wear is safety equipment. They have on gloves, they have on steel-toe boots. They wear a lot of protective gear. Eyewear is important. They wear hard hats. So you will have an opportunity to ride along with our employees and engage in their day-to-day activity. So it's one of our signature events. It's one of our signature components of Internship Connect. And we pride ourselves on allowing our interns to be a part of our ride. Next slide. Round robins. And our round robins are an introduction to employees at REC. So for example, as a new intern, we would schedule weekly opportunities for you to meet others within the organization. And for example, if you had an interest in marketing, or your interest was in operations or electricity, then we would pair you with someone from that department so that you would have an opportunity to learn about the various departments within REC. You would have a chance to collaborate with employees outside of your department. And that's where you build your network. You build your network of professionals because you are having a moment to engage with others outside of your area. Exposure to other jobs at REC. REC offers so many jobs. We have a human resources department, a finance and accounting department, an operations department, our member services department. We have many, many departments, and oftentimes you will see our yellow trucks driving by, and we have other positions outside of those departments as well. So keep in mind, we do restore electricity and we do offer other positions outside of just the restoration of electricity. Next slide. Career development. So students, let's talk about your resume. Your resume is the ticket to the interview. And without a ticket, you cannot make it into the concert. So please get organized when thinking about your resume. Getting organized means that you're going to have a chance to find a job, build those skills, focus on where you want to be. Know your reader. Know who's reading your resume. Anticipate who may pick up your resume. Be clear and concise. Make sure what's written in your resume is clear and concise. Make sure you use action verbs such as words like executed, performed, I planned. Those are words to show action. They show what you have done. Use the right format. Now, using the right format means the varying types of resumes. Now, there are multiple types of resumes, and to name a few today, resumes are chronological, they're functional, and they can be a combination. So note, when you are developing your resume, keep in mind that you want to make sure the information you are sharing with the reader speaks to the actual position, and it also speaks to the actual company. Because if there's a company looking at your resume, we want to make sure that if the company is focused on, for example, finance and accounting, you want to make sure your resume highlights those pieces of information. And you want to make sure you're using the correct resume style to present yourself. And always, always, always ask for editing. Now, I'm sure many of you are using Grammarly. I too use Grammarly. Grammarly is a wonderful tool. It's free. It will review your work. So take some time to search Grammarly, but also take some time to look at someone or identify someone whom you trust, who will provide the feedback to you necessary for your development and necessary for you to improve. Because the goal, once again, is to land the interview. So try not to make any mistakes, although mistakes do happen, but do as much as you possibly can to mitigate those mistakes in your resume, because your resume is a reflection of who you are. Next slide. All right, so tips on how to improve your interviewing skills. So let's focus on improving those interviewing skills. Know how to use the job description. Read the job description in its entirety. Highlight important components of the job description. Research the job description. Research some of the actual skills necessary for the job, because you want to present yourself in the interview as the best qualified applicant. Research the company. Look at some of the company's statistics. Look at the retention rates of the company. Review your resume to make sure that your resume speaks to the actual job. And once again, we're going back to the resume because the resume is a tied component to the interview. When you present yourself for an interview, attire, again, research the company. The company may not require something as so professional as a business suit. The company may require their employees show up in a sweatshirt. And this may seem far-fetched, but there are some companies that focus more on the actual work in the company than actually sometimes all of the presentation skills. So know the company you're working with. And then a mock interview. A mock interview is what we also offer. It's a chance for the students to sit down with a professional and to answer questions and receive feedback. Feedback necessary to improve your interviewing skills. I will say, I oftentimes have butterflies in my stomach during interviews. And it's not that I do not know the information, it's just habit, because we are human. So what's most important is to practice for the interview. I read somewhere that even standing in front of a mirror and answering questions to the mirror and just viewing your mannerisms, viewing your body language, viewing how you're responding, viewing how you're smiling back at the interviewer, excuse me. Make sure you know how to respond to questions. And sometimes it's most important for you to sit down with someone who could be in a hiring manager role, and you just want the feedback, taking the feedback, implementing the feedback, executing the feedback will land you the job. Remember, the best qualified applicant. Now, you have sat in the hot seat. You have been the interviewee for roughly about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And guess what? Now it's time for you to be the interviewer, because you want to make sure that you are a best fit for the job, but you also want to make sure that the job is a best fit for you. So when you sit down, students, write out some questions of interest to you that you may want to ask the interviewer about the company, because you want to make sure that you fit like a puzzle piece when you match up with your companies. So keep in mind, prepare questions for your interview as well. Next slide. Okay. In your career development, we want you to link up with LinkedIn. And what does that mean? That means starting with a professional photo. Not a photo if you were taking a selfie out with your friends, but a professional photo that may be a headshot, or a professional photo that demonstrates some of your skills that you actually are seeking in a job. Make your headline stand out. You want to make sure that your headline stands out. Talented graphic artist who is bilingual. Something that stands out in your headline to make sure others are captivated by what you have to say. Develop a professional summary. Develop your summary with skills that you know are going to land you the eye of a hiring manager or a recruiter for that matter. Make sure you develop a professional summary. Show off your education. You've worked for it. You've worked extremely hard. You've stayed up late nights preparing for exams. You've stayed up writing that paper. Show off your education in your profile. It's important. Showcase those skills as stated before. Add images, your certifications, honors, and documents to your experience. Make sure that you capture in your profile anything focused on making the dean's list. That's an honor that you would share in your profile. And always, always, always keep your work history relevant. We want to make sure that you have kept your work history relevant for that recruiter who's looking for someone in the field of human resources. And if you do not keep your skills or your work history relevant, you may miss out on an opportunity. Next slide. So here we have a spotlight. We have Shawanda Minor, one of our regional assistants. Shawanda started her internship with REC in the year of, 2009. And Shawanda has been with the company over 20 years. Over 20 years. And I'm sorry, not in 2009. I'm so sorry. It was actually earlier than that. My apologies. Shawanda has been with the company over 20 years. And here's what Shawanda had to say about REC. My internship experience strengthened my problem solving and communication skills. It gave me a better understanding of work ethics, laws, and how human resources works within the cooperative. My internship experience provided me with great experiences, lessons, and tools that have carried me throughout my career here at REC. Over those years, Shawanda has had several positions with our cooperative, and today she is our regional assistant in our Eastern region. Next slide. Previous internships. REC has had internships for a very long time. And so in some of our previous internships, we've had communications, public relations, and external affairs. 5 5 communications, public relations, and legislative affairs interns over the years. And here we have pictured Rachel Conrad. And Rachel is currently a full-time employee. And Rachel is our communication specialist. And I will share with you some words shared by Rachel. To say that my internship with REC prepared me for the workforce would be an understatement. It gave me great confidence as I entered the workforce and was critical to shaping my professional aspirations. I received solid support and expert guidance throughout my internship for those I worked with at the cooperative. Rachel, again, is our communication specialist, and she's been with our cooperative for quite some time as well. And the goals of the internship for the communications, public relations, and external affairs team was to provide opportunities for hands-on experience in writing for multiple communication channels, while also gaining experience in community events and other engagement activities. So Shawanda and Rachel are examples of individuals who participated in an internship opportunity, which afforded them a full-time opportunity. So students, this can be you. This can happen to you as well. Next slide. So this summer, we have 2 new internship opportunities, and we have 4 new interns. And so this summer, our Energy Solutions and Clean Energy department has 2 interns. And the goal is to create outlines for future energy solutions within the department. The Director of Energy Solutions and Clean Energy is Joyce Bodo, who is actually shown here in this picture. And she's working with our interns on our electric vehicles. Doesn't that wrap look really nice on our car? This is one of our electric vehicles at REC. And as always, again, hashtag we are REC. Next slide. And next, we have economic development interns. We have 2 interns coming to us for economic development. They're business research interns. And the goals for their internship opportunity is to research best practices in economic development and establish a new database with key account representatives to house economic development data. This morning, having the conversation with Felicia, who's our Director of Economic Development, shown here, she stated that there are so many new activities, projects that are happening that our interns have already started developing the database and started inputting data because there's so much to do. But the interns are excited because they're learning something new, something they've never done before. So the experience is just as fruitful for our interns. Next slide. Okay, now's the time, students. Now is the time. Grab your cell phones. Grab your cell phones and go into your pictures and hover over the QR reader, the QR code. We utilize Handshake at REC to post our internship opportunities. And currently we do not have any opportunities. However, within the next couple of weeks, we will have more opportunities coming to you. So please check out our website, www.myrec.coop, and stay tuned for opportunities. If you do not have a Handshake account, please sign up for a free Handshake account and stay posted to the opportunities. We support our community colleges as well as our 4-year institutions. So please join Handshake. Next slide. So we have many, many, many institutional relationships, and I did not list all of them here today. However, I wanted to recognize some of the relationships we have. We have with Hollins University, Virginia Tech, Germanna Community College, Strayer University, Howard University, Virginia State University, Hampton University, University of Mary Washington, University of Virginia, and Virginia Union University. And all of these schools are housed in our Handshake platform. The University of Richmond, in addition to Norfolk State University, all of these institutions of higher learning are supported via handshake. So please note, if you are enrolled at one of these institutions or a myriad of other institutions, take some time to take a look at REC. We will have new opportunities arising within the next couple of weeks. Next slide. I would like to acknowledge today the National Cooperative Business Association. I want to say thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak on REC's Internship Connect program. It was a delightful experience, and hopefully I will be able to see some of you soon via LinkedIn. As I shared earlier, the QR code to connect with me, in addition to Handshake. Please hover over the QR code, join Handshake, and connect with REC.
Thank you so much, Fafa. That was such a great presentation. And we appreciate you stopping by this afternoon to share some information about the Internship Connect program. Sounds fascinating. I have to say, it was just really nice to see some pictures of folks who've actually benefited from this program and how it's really shaped their career trajectory. So again, as Fafa said, that could be you. Scan the QR code. We do have some time to look at our audience questions that have come through. We have a few questions. So maybe I'm just gonna look at them quickly and share them with you. So let's start out with this. What does the onboarding and training process look like for Internship Connect folks?
Okay, so when our interns join REC and they're onboarding, we have the students come in for an internship orientation. And once the students our interns join through our orientation, and usually we were in-house. So it's definitely been a transition because we have transitioned to more of a virtual platform. For example, today our internships participated in an orientation in which we spoke about safety, we spoke about our leadership, we spoke about appearance, we spoke about just having fun and what their experience will entail as they join REC. They have already met with their supervisors. They have in fact met with some of their teammates. They've actually gone out to lunch with some of their team members already. And in reference to the training, whatever training is necessary for the actual internship opportunity, the students will receive, whether with their internship team or whether with outside of the team in training. We will connect with the internship supervisor and prepare those opportunities prior to the internship onboarding.
That sounds awesome. So you hinted at this a bit in what you were just talking about in terms of virtual experiences. But this person is asking if you have any remote opportunities or if you anticipate having any of those virtual sort of engagement opportunities coming down the pipeline.
Well, with the space we're in right now, we are operating under a virtual internship. So I will say that as we look more into the internship program, those opportunities can become endless. And we could actually have a hybrid of an internship opportunity or a sole internship opportunity that is virtual. So those opportunities are unwinding right now as we speak. So it would be more to be a conversation with the hiring managers to determine what type of opportunity they'd like to share with our interns to be.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. So the next question is a little bit about what type of students you're looking for. So this person is asking, are there opportunities for folks from different career backgrounds, different areas of study, or are you really looking for, those engineering students / college grads that have experience in electric co-op type work?
And honestly, we're looking for all students.
Okay.
As stated, we have multiple departments. And so we are looking for those students who may have an accounting background, or we're looking for students who may have a recruiting background, or they've taken courses in recruitment or human resources. We are looking for those students who may have a marketing background or someone who's interested in public relations. So it's not just those engineering folks we're looking for everyone, because everyone has something to bring to the table. And we want to make sure that we partner and we engage those students and we're able to upskill those students. So we recognize you come in and you may seem as though you may not have the full realm of experience, but by the time you leave REC, that is our goal, for you to be well-rounded and well-versed in the area in which you support it.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a little bit more time here, so I'm going to go to another question. So for folks who've joined, maybe, I know that you kind of touched on this at the very beginning, but where can folks find more information about internship opportunities? Should they just keep checking their website? Should they keep scanning that QR code? Is there any other places that they should keep an eye on?
We would house our internship opportunities on our website, our webpage, www.myrec.coop, in addition to Handshake, but we also partner with institutions of higher learning as well. We recognize sometimes students are not so many, I will say this day and time, a lot more students are more inept to use the technologies available, but we do recognize that students also like the hands-on approach. And so once we return to being on campus, we will make some of those connections to where we can actually send out those notifications and have those offices post those opportunities on site for students as well.
Okay, awesome. And again, this is something that you touched briefly on, but can you talk just a little bit more about the internships and whether or not they're paid, and what folks should expect in terms of that?
Yes, our internships are compensated. As stated before, we begin with minimum wage, but again, the compensation could go higher. And so it's really based on the department. It's based on the actual role the student will come in and participate in. So the compensation can vary. I will say that we also have credit internship opportunities because those institutions of higher learning, they seek those opportunities for completion of a course. So when students, and I've worked with a student who needed an actual credit for class in order to complete and graduate. So we sat with the institution, I met with one-on-one with our point of contact, and we sat down and we created what the student needed to learn, those learning experiences, which supported the goals and objectives for the credit for the course. So we have both forms of internship opportunities.
That's great. And it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities to kind of tailor the program to the needs of the students.
And that's our focus. We want to make sure that we do tailor it to the needs of the students because the students are the asset.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, Fafa, thank you so much. That's all the questions that we have coming in from the audience. I did want to give you an opportunity, though, for any closing thoughts or anything that we haven't covered that you were hoping to raise awareness of this afternoon.
I want students to know we've taken some time to research the interest of the students, and we've had some conversations with institutions. And oftentimes what we've heard is what we are offering surpasses what some of the students have actually participated in. And so we seek advice, we seek information from our students because we look at them, as I stated, as our assets to improve and enhance what we currently do. So whenever we bring students on, we love to have focus groups, talk with them, ask them, what are they looking for in an internship opportunity? What do they foresee in the future for a future internship opportunity? As we know, the skills we have today may not be necessarily the skills needed for years to come. So what can we do to enhance where we are, but also prepare for those students who are following? So I want our interns to know that we value you. We are happy to have you. And if ever you need to reach out to me, please, once again, link up with me on LinkedIn, FAFA. I'm probably the only one out there. Reach out to me, last name Baker, and let's connect and let's chat. But there's one more piece that I'd like to also share, Elizabeth, today, is that we're going to host a closed private group on LinkedIn to where we will communicate with those interns so that we can keep up with their career trajectory. If they've landed that job, we want to hear about it. We want to highlight it. If they've had an opportunity to sit and meet with someone who's in the industry and they wanted to share, please, by all means, do so. We're going to add information out there to that pipeline so that those students can grab hold to that literature, grab hold to some of those experiences, even maybe looking at opportunities that can support their learning further with REC. So I wanted to share that we will have a pipeline coming soon on LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome. That's great. And we'll probably reach out to you to get more details about that to share with the folks who are here with us this afternoon, and the ones who registered but weren't actually able to join. And on that note, I do want to mention to our audience this afternoon that this webinar was recorded, and recorded a link to view the recording, will be sent out to everyone who was registered tomorrow. And along with that, we'll have a really cool video that Rappahannock Electric Cooperative has provided about Internship Connect. We were hoping to be able to share that this afternoon. Didn't quite work out. The internet gods did not spy on us, but definitely check your inbox tomorrow and take a look at that. It's a great video. And with that, I think we will wrap up. But again, Fafa, thank you so much for taking the time this afternoon. And thank you really to the entire team at Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. We're so lucky to have you guys as partners, and we're excited about opportunities coming down the pipeline for more students and interns to connect with this program. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
All right, everyone, stay safe, stay well. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye.